New Radio Sports Network. Time for another edition of the show with head Gamblers coach Pat Mikesch. And coach, before we talk about the Gamblers, we kind of joked about it last week before we came on. We talked about our Red Wings and our Blackhawks and things like that, and kind of got me thinking. When you see an organization like the Blackhawks or any organization, obviously the Red Wings have kind of gone through their own struggles as well recently. Do you ever kind of put yourself in those coaches' shoes and go, what would I say if I was behind the bench right now? Do you ever do that at all when you watch, whether it be professional or college hockey?
Well, I can't afford to get into the shoes that they're able to buy, but Jeff Blashill, I played with, who's the head coach with the Detroit Red Wings, and it's not all the time, but those couple times a year, if I can lean on him and kind of talk to him about some of those experiences, because the players that they're dealing with are completely different, and ours are in that development mode, and then their players are at the top level. And I think, one of the things he talked about was, when Dad Suk and Zetterberg were at their end, they were there only to win. That was their only purpose, was to compete for championships. And once that was gone, they were ready to retire. And that's when the Red Wings went through the complete rebuild. And the Blackhawks are kind of walking into that same thing with Keith gone and Seabrook and the golden days. They still, Jonathan Taves back this year, Patrick came back, but you can't just rebuild championship teams. And then because you're drafting so late, that's probably the biggest thing I learned. You're drafting 25th to 31st every year. You're hoping to hit a home run, where the guys who are getting picked 1, 2, and 3 every year are the guys that everybody has a pretty good idea are going to have an impact in the NHL. So it's just a lot of building while you can to win those championships when you have those guys around. And then once those days are over, it can be a really long rebuild for teams.
Yeah. And speaking of building, I took a look at the line chart from over the weekend. I guess I hadn't realized how many college commits you have already. Usually a lot of those kind of trickle in over the course of the season. Seems like you only have 3 or 4 players that still are kind of out there as free agents, if you will, looking for that college hockey team. Is that normal for a team like yours?
Yeah, if you look around the league, it's pretty common now. I mean, once a guy has made a USHL team and kind of has a plan, there's not much time usually before a school and the player, come to an agreement on what the timeline is going to be and when they're going to be going in. So we have a few more guys to take care of, but for the most part, our guys all have their future plans in front of them.
And what is that process like? Because obviously you're trying to kind of keep their focus with what you're doing with the Green Bay Gamblers. But, I mean, it's got to be hard to have that distraction out there, especially when you have as many of your players as you do inked for those couple of players that are still kind of looking to see what that next step will be.
I guess I've never seen it as a distraction. For the most part, I think some of the guys who don't have one, there's a little bit of stress at times, and you want them to relax a little bit. But with the early recruiting of hockey players, I mean, it's at 16 years old, 17 years old, they're allowed to take their official offers and then make the verbal commitment until they're actually able to sign during their senior year of high school. So it's been the pattern for quite a few years here. And so, for us to get a player through that process, a lot of them, have gone through that this past summer. And so it's good just to know that they have their plan. Some know they're going to be with us for 1 year. Some know they're going to be for 2 years. And then it's just, going through that with their family and everything. So to me, it's not really a distraction. It's become part of the game.
And taking a look at this past weekend, just the one game, an exciting one at the end, overtime victory. Jackson Helm obviously adding on to his goal total. And what is he doing right now that luckily for the Gamblers, other teams have not been able to figure out so far, where he's been able to have that ability to put the puck in the back of the net?
Well, it's his game-breaking speed. And I mean, I believe he's still leading the league in shooting percentage as well. And so his ability to get out on his own and behind people and just him and the goalie, that's so rare. I mean, with his skating ability, but then he has a great finishing touch once he gets in there and has those chances. So it's his elite speed is the one thing that separates him. I think his teammates do a great job of getting pucks out in front of him so that he can skate into them and get these opportunities. But it's a different dimension on what his skating is and how he can create time and space for himself.
I think the thing that shocked me the most is that here's a team with Chicago Steel that they can score. I mean, I think they have another trio of players that are right up there in terms of point totals. You're thinking, oh man, 6-5. Can the Gamblers keep up offensively? 2-1 score. Of course, that's what it worked out. What were you able to do defensively against them?
I thought it was a very strong game for us without the puck. We talk about, matching their speed, staying in front of them, and, making sure we have layers of defense. And I thought we did a great job, but that game could have been a 5-4 game in a heartbeat. Both goalies played great, and there were opportunities at both ends. And so I think both teams probably gave their goalie a little tap on the shoulder and said, thanks for getting us to overtime, and now we'll try to go win this one for you, because it could have been that 5-4 game, like I said, but it was just it was lights out. Best goaltending I've seen in this league this year.
Do the goalies sweat a little bit more when they face a team like the Steel that obviously were able to score at will this year, and once again they have a big three-headed monster again this year?
I don't think Aaron, who's played so many games for us and been in this league for a great stretch of time now, he's comfortable playing against everybody. He beat Chicago last year when he played against them, so it's nothing that, Aaron's going to get rattled at his point. Like, I think he loves the challenge, and, he probably, raised his level of his game just over the excitement of, playing against a very strong Chicago team.
And you go from a team that you saw a lot last year to a team that I believe you didn't get to see at all last year with the Madison Capitols. You get to see them in a home and home. And what do we know about Madison this year? Obviously coming off, I believe, a hiatus.
Yeah, we got to see them in the preseason, and so we got a little feel for them. They're playing great hockey right now. Very pressure-filled, fast-paced, very strong in transition. So it's going to be a great test for us just to, play against that type of pressure. A Chicago team puts pressure on you with their skating and everything, but it's more of a physical pressure that we'll see from a Madison group this weekend, and it's all the way through their lineup. And so they're off to a great start and feeling very confident. So I think it'll be important for us just to, manage their emotion early, not allow their pressure to get to us and kind of slow things down when we need to. And then because I like the way our ozone is coming together, I thought we really established that this past weekend, and knowing where our releases were and possessing pucks more. And so that's going to be a big part of us against Madison, is not giving them that easy transition and not allowing them to put pressure on us and slowing them down when we need to.
Home and home, we'll have the game on 104.1 WRLU Saturday afternoon. That is key. Saturday afternoon, 3:05. Make sure you wear your Halloween costumes. And who's got the advantage when it comes to something like that? Would you rather have the home game on the front end or back end of what we're going to be seeing this weekend with Madison?
We do them both, and I guess I don't have a great feeling on how our team responds from one to the other. It's kind of, just making sure you're prepared. They're doing some travel, we're doing some travel, and this is such light travel with Madison involved. I mean, we'll be back at a decent hour on Friday after that game, and then get ourselves back to the rink the next late morning and prepare for that 3:00 game.
And then afternoon game, first one of the season so far. How are you looking at your team to respond in this situation?
Yeah, coming back, I right now, all of our focus is on that Friday game and just making sure our energy level's at the right spot. And then we'll have to flip a page and talk with the guys quickly after that game on Friday about how important our recovery is, our meal is after that game, knowing that we do have the quicker turnaround, and you're losing a little bit of sleep that you might have gotten on a 7:00 start. So we got to start the process a little bit quicker and making sure our bodies are recovering and ready to go.
And they get to sleep. Well, I was going to say in their own beds, but technically it's not their own beds. I mean, I would think that's got to play into a little bit. Wouldn't you think? Yeah,
they'll get home, and, I would say guys should be to their places by 12:30, and then we won't rush them down in the morning to the rink. So they'll be able to sleep in, and we'll talk about what kind of meal to put in themselves and at what time on that Saturday with the 3:00 start. Because like you said, this is our first time with that earlier go. So it'll be good to walk through, and we'll have them later in the year on a few of the Sundays.
We'll have a little fun with you now with it being Halloween weekend. They have their trick or treat event during the game, or during the game day, I should say, at the Ranch Center. if somebody's going to come trick or treating at the Mikesch household, what are they getting?
I don't know. Probably some. Amy will be in charge of that. There'll be some kind of gummy candies. She'll probably try to keep it as healthy as she can. And then there'll be probably some Snickers, maybe some Reese's, but she'll have this healthy image that she's trying to portray, even though there's candy in the bag as well.
That's interesting. A healthy image, like gummy broccoli, or
no, like just those vitamin C gummy bear things you can have in that.
okay.
Yeah, she'll try to keep the neighborhood happy, like she's giving, clean options for the children.
You can either get the healthy gummy snacks or the king size Snicker bars.
The 100%. 100%.
Well, once again, we will have Green Bay Gambler hockey for you Saturday afternoon on 104.1 WRLU and the new radiosportsnetwork.com as the Green Bay Gamblers host the Madison Capitols on the back end of a home and home. Coach, as always, we thank you for joining us and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Tim. Look forward to catching up next week.
You've been listening to the new Radio Sports Network.